Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Per usual, keeping Soapy pre-op out of the studio. We've had this new contract with security going through the rest of 2022, so we're not too concerned. Today, we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of the first Patriots Super Bowl. Got the logo right there. I can't believe it's been 20 years, but we'll get into a lot of Patriots stuff to talk about today. But my guest, making his third appearance, first time in almost 2 years, John Nagle. John, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
No. Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
How have you been? It's been probably since, I want to say your last appearance probably in May 2020. We had Justin Frankel on the show as well.
Yep.
So it's been a little bit of time. How you been doing?
Not bad. Can't complain. Getting married coming up in June.
Yeah.
Be a good time. So planning for that, stressful, especially with COVID going on now and everything. Just had knee surgery in December, so I'm kind of been shelved up, laying down, not doing much, just playing some video games, relaxing. About 4 or 5 month recovery time, so I'll be back to work like April, May.
So how did this injury happen? Exactly what was the injury?
So I was working. I was installing termite systems into the ground at a lady's house, and I was using a power auger. And what happened was I dug so deep I caught a tree root.
Okay.
And when I went to go pull the auger up, it slipped out of my hands. My hands were like slimy that day. It was hot out. So when that happened, the power auger spun and the handle smashed me right off the kneecap, resulting in a torn patella. So, yeah, fun stuff. So they finally, after a few months of going back and forth with the diagnosis, they finally figured it out that it was torn and made me go under the knife. So here I am on the road to recovery, and hopefully within the next few months I'll be feeling 80-90% again. So.
I've gone under the knife a few times. I had my ankle done in 2001. I got a plate in there. Freak flag football. Actually, we were playing tackle at the time. This was still in high school where, we thought we were tough guys.
Sure.
Whatever. And then tore my rotator cuff in 2018. So I know what it's like. Any nerves going into surgery? Like, that was like the one thing. Like, as I got older, not too much, but before, like, I remember, because I had my tonsils out as a kid. I was terrified. How'd you feel going into surgery?
So just like you, I've been under the knife, 5-6 times in my life. Kayla was more nervous before going into it than I was. She goes, "How are you not nervous?" I said, "Well, this isn't my first rodeo, essentially, so." But no, as you're getting wheeled into the operating room, and obviously you start getting jittery, but. No, overall, like I said, not my first rodeo. So.
No, I hear you. It's wild. If you never had any kind of surgery, they put that mask on you, and I can't remember. I don't know if you count down. Like, all of a sudden you're just out,
and then you wake up,
and I don't think you dream, and next thing you know, you're
laying up at post-op in the post-op room.
Yeah, like it
feels like nothing happened. And I remember saying that too to the doctor. He came in and I said, "How long was the procedure?" He said, "About an hour, give or take." I said, "What?" Felt like 2 minutes, man. Like, wow.
It flies by.
That stuff's magic. It's crazy.
When I woke up from rotator cuff, right? Like, when they did my ankle, I knew I was getting a plate. They explained it to me, even though I was high on morphine, because as soon as the injury happened, I had to go right into surgery, or God knows what could happen.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. But when I had my shoulder done, I wake up, and the doctor's like, "So we had to do a change of plans here." I go, and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You didn't have enough tissue in there to fully fix it, so we used cadaver tissue." And I'm still just coming. I go, "Well, I didn't know what cadaver meant."
Yeah,
I'm gonna admit that I'm an idiot. I didn't know what it meant.
I don't even know what it means to this day. So enlighten me.
They go, "Well, someone donated the tissue," meaning they're deceased.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So I'm like, "Wait, what?" And the good thing was I brought my mom. I signed off that she had full rights to make this, because they were gonna wake me up to say,
"You got to go back under.
We can't do this today." Luckily, she said it was okay. Put the cadaver. The whole ride home, I'm going, so I got a dead guy's tissue in my shoulder. That's what happened. So surgery's wild. I'm glad that you said, what, about a 5-month recovery?
Yeah, 4 to 5 months, give or take. So like walking around, get back to work. I'm not going to be, diving all over the place on the field in 5 months. That won't be happening. So
how is PT going? I know that can be
So I actually just started it a couple weeks ago. I've had like 3 or 4 visits now. It's getting gradually better. A lot of the exercises she tells me to do every day. Take a couple days off throughout the week.
Okay.
But it's getting stronger, definitely. That still definitely got a long way to go as far as like squatting, getting into a catcher's position or something. That's definitely not happening. Stairs. I mean, you saw me coming up the stairs on the way, and those are an enemy right now.
And I apologize. I like ran up the stairs. I'm like,
No,
oh,
you're
Nagle,
good.
stop. Sorry, I forgot. But no, so it looks like this year we're it's February. Both you and I have been playing softball very long time. I think I'm going into my 17th year.
Crazy.
Which is it? Yeah, my 17th year,
Crazy.
which is kind of wild. A little. I guess I'm getting up there in age, but. You're going to be taking kind of more of a coaching role this year.
Yeah. I talked with Cairo, Ramel. I'm not going to be playing this year. I'm going to take this year off just to rehab, see how things go. But I love the game. I want to be around it still in some capacity. So with Ramel starting the Pint E team, I feel like, hey, it would be a good opportunity to get there, give some of my experience to those guys who haven't played tournament ball before. And they have something good going for them, I think. If they just stay together and work hard, that should be fun. Be a fun summer, definitely.
Yeah. I'm excited about it because I'm going to be part of that team as well.
Yeah, of course.
It's funny how tournament teams work because, like, I told Max Vignola, I'll play for you, but he wanted to play D's originally.
Yeah.
Now he's in E's. Well, now I'm with the Pints, so everybody's kind of figuring their stuff out. Now, I've had to do some coaching in my day.
Yeah.
You've had to play for me.
Yeah.
What's it like having Tiny Pipes, Dan Bollier, as your
it's
coach?
fun. You can tell how much you love the game, man. You're passionate. You bat at everyone. At the beginning of the year in the regular season, that's cool because it's not playoffs. Everyone's out there. Plus, we didn't even get a chance to play last year or 2020.
The whole year was off.
So at the beginning of the year, you were batting, 14, 15 people?
Whoever
showed up, essentially.
They were in.
Yeah. And that to me, that's cool. And I play for someone like that all the time, 10 out of 10 times. Someone that wants to bring fun to the game.
Well, I was trying to tell someone today, we were talking about one of our other teams. I don't want to mention the team right now, but do you feel like you got to play the regular season a little bit different than the playoffs?
Always, yeah.
And like, what's your opinion on this? And would you rather have a large roster during the regular season, knowing you're not going to forfeit games, but you also know when you go in the playoffs, you're going to have to make the tough decision? Would you rather go with a thin group, or would you rather have the bigger numbers and have to make those tough decisions in the playoffs?
I'd rather have to make those tough decisions in the playoffs, honestly, because if you run the numbers thin, then all of a sudden, someone gets hurt mid-season, or life comes up in general. People have to miss games, and all of a sudden you're scrambling where you only have 8, 9 people. You need 10 to field a comfortable softball field. So I'd always much rather have 13, 14, rotate guys in and out. I feel like that would be easier in a sense. So yeah, I'm gonna say the more the better.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, regular season is like in most of these leagues, everybody's making it.
Yeah.
It's 20 practice games or whatever it is.
Exactly.
So I'm with you. I'd rather have a bigger group. Figure it out once you get to the playoffs. Sometimes you do have to tell people, and you see teams break up all the time over this. Like,
You do.
I'm making this decision, and that's just how it's going to be. But I think the best teams do have those guys that are more selfless, that are like,
Yeah.
okay, I understand. When it's my turn to come up, I'll come up in that spot.
Well, look at someone like Manny, for example, who pitches for the Raccoons. He pitches basically all year, and then it comes playoff time, Chad comes in. Manny's as happy as ever, sitting there hanging out on the sidelines, drinking his beers, rooting the team on. That's what you want. You want a group of guys like that.
Yeah, that's not something that can be taught. Like, either you're a team person or you're not.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't teach that at all, unfortunately. And it comes down to selfishness at the end of the day. I mean, I get it. If you're spending your time there, you obviously want to play. But be a team guy, too, at the end of the day. Don't be a cancer to a team. If someone's better than you, or, someone goes cold and you go cold and someone comes in to fill in your shoes, just be ready when your number's called.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, honestly, like, if everybody's playing during the regular season, like, I don't see what the big deal is in the playoffs. It's like, And you know what? Every season you have a chance to go play for someone else if you were unhappy. But you should finish out that season.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't cut.
There's people
halfway
that I
through.
even know that I consider friends. It wasn't on our team, but on other teams. Well, I didn't get to pitch that night, so I'm not showing up
To
for
the
the
next
game.
Just out of spite.
That's something I don't. I don't agree with that. I understand what we do in softball. I look at it as all rec. It's recreational activities. I still think you made a commitment. You finish that commitment. You don't want to come back the next year. That's fine.
Sure.
But you should finish the commitment. I understand tournaments can be a little bit different because you may have an opportunity to go to another team.
Yeah.
But I think for like league softball, finish
Yeah.
out the commitment.
Just finish up the commitment. Yeah, tournament ball's a whole new animal when it comes to that. You see some people that play, 5, 6 different teams throughout one year. Some teams fold halfway through. Some situations arise where, hey, I'm a bench guy for this team. I can go start over here.
Yeah.
A tournament ball is crazy.
Because I think tournaments too, you're gonna start to actually to play on the Raccoons or whatever. Maybe we paid last year we didn't pay anything. Had big ups to Chad on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you pay $65 tournaments. It gets more cost.
Oh, yeah.
There's more to it.
And these sponsorships are huge
Yeah.
with tournament ball. Sponsorships and fundraisers, Super Bowl squares, running indoor tournaments, stuff like that throughout the winter time. It's a great recipe. You need thousands to get comfortable.
Now, like we said, you're going to be taking on a coaching role at the Pint. I'm sure you and Ramel are going to work out what that looks like. What should be the expectations of a brand new team? You've played tournaments now for a length.
Yeah,
you played for the
6
Jade.
years or so.
That Jade's like a household name in softball. Everybody knows the
Yep.
Jade. You played for Amoskeag, Tiny. So you've been around for a while.
Yep.
New team. I'm not just saying specifically the Pint, but if you're a new tournament team, what should your expectations be?
Well, it depends. If you're a startup team with a bunch of veterans in the game, then obviously you're competing to win now, depending on those veterans. But if you're a startup team and you have a ton of people who have never played U-Trip before, let's use the Pint as an example. This year, there's a ton of people on that roster who haven't played U-Trip. Just get comfortable with the game. It's a different atmosphere, tournament ball between compared to your beer league. Just get there, get your feet wet, and then just have fun. Compete, have fun. One thing that Ray always taught me, the coach from Jade, was hitting's contagious. And if you do something bad, don't hold your head. Just put it behind you. It's easier said than done sometimes. But if you're dwelling on it, it's not going to do any good for you going forward in the future. So just have fun.
I like there's a quote that it was someone posted that Brett Bellerow said. And I like this that Brett said this. Get to the next person. Especially in tournament ball.
Yeah.
Like every at bat, I got to get it to the next person. Obviously, someone has to make an out eventually. But that should be your mentality.
Yep.
Is get
Do a job. Do a job.
Any advice you'd give to teams that start off, say you start your tournaments and you're going 0-2. Let's say you go 0-2, maybe 3 tournaments in a row. What would be your advice for a team not to get discouraged by that? Because we've seen a lot of teams that had potential, they got it in a little over their head, and next thing you know, they didn't even make it.
Everyone's at each other's throats, and then they fold 2 months into the tournament season. So, if you're going 0-2 right away, there's obviously something that's going on. Are you getting blown out? Are you just losing by 1? What's going on? What aspect of your game needs more attention? Is it defense, maybe hitting cutoffs, fundamental ball, stuff like that? Or do you need to hit the field more, hit batting practice more? What aspect of your game needs to change and work on it? If you start off the year 0-6, man, it's tough. It's obviously tough. No one wants to be in that predicament, but get better. You're only going to get better with the better competition that you face and the time that you put into the game.
No, I totally agree with that because I've just seen so many teams where they get I felt, I'm not using any team names or anything, they got discouraged very fast.
Yeah, and it's multiple teams throughout the year.
It's if it's still May, I don't think that's where you hit the panic button. June, probably if you're still there, have some concerns. July, yeah, but I've seen teams it's we're never going to do anything. We didn't do well in the month of May. Well,
so
that's early.
That's the very beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Teams are shaking rust off at that point.
Yeah.
I'd say by the time, if you're rolling into nationals and you're still, 1-20 on the
Yeah.
year,
Maybe
maybe
that's
you
where-
want to start looking at things differently. But if you're rolling at nationals, that's about the time that you want to be at your peak, because that's getting ready for Worlds, and obviously Worlds is where you want to hit that peak.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to this playing with this group of guys. I'm looking forward to, because honestly, like last year, I'd watched a lot of Bobby's games last year with 603, and I watched a lot. I liked hanging out at the field. Like now that we're like, I know that we could do that in 2020, but 2021 felt better to just go wherever you wanted.
Sure.
And it's fun watching. It's fun seeing what teams are doing what.
Yeah.
Let's get into sports. Big news yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I believe it was
Someone
yesterday.
retired yesterday?
Oh no, on Monday. Or
2 days
Tuesday
ago.
maybe.
Technically over the weekend, but
Well,
it got leaked over the weekend.
That's true. Adam Schefter leaked Tom Brady was retiring from the NFL. Tom denied the claims or said he hadn't made up his mind. Obviously, Adam Schefter is always on top of things.
He's one of the most reliable sources where you get your news from in football.
If he's going to say it, that's why everybody had done their tribute posts. I had done mine Saturday. Sure. But Brady said he was still thinking about it. Officially announces on Tuesday. What's going through your head to hear that Tom Brady has officially retired?
Wow. I don't think it'll really set in until next year, when you're looking for him in the first part of the first week games kick off, and you're like, oh, how's Brady doing? Oh, wait, he's not playing this year. 22 years, man. That's
a lifetime for some people.
That's 10 years. I was 10 when he first started.
Yeah.
And I was watching the Man in the Arena documentary.
So good.
And I was just sitting there thinking, it's crazy because all these flashbacks come. You're like, oh man, I remember exactly where I was for that day in that moment, and it's funny, but watching something like that, it's just like, wow, that's 22 years worth of memories and championships and dominance. Wow, what can I say? You'll never see him again. You'll never see something like that again. I believe.
I agree with that, and I have to say, watching the Man in the Arena, you're right. I remember exactly where I was. I was sitting in my apartment when they got blown out by the Chiefs.
Yep.
And all of social media was going, this is 2014, saying Tom Brady's done.
Done, yeah.
I made a meme goes, I still believe in Tom Brady. It was Tom like this, Because I did.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, when does teams get blown out in the NFL? And the next day, Belichick said, we're on to Cincinnati. And my God, they were. And they finally got that fourth Super Bowl that we've been waiting for.
Yep.
Because we lost to the Giants twice.
That was like the turn of the page on Tom Brady's second chapter.
Seriously,
because you had that little I think it was like a 4 or 5 year span where he didn't go to the Super Bowl or win it, or he lost it twice to the Giants.
He lost the Giants in the 2007 season and the 2011 season.
Yep.
And the second loss to the Giants, I said, okay, that's it. We're not going to get that fourth Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which, that's how spoiled we were. It's like, we're not going to get that fourth Super Bowl. You got the freaking Bengals going into the Super Bowl this year, like, just being like, I can't believe we got to the Super Bowl.
No. They haven't made the playoffs in, 35, 40 years or something?
They haven't made this far. I think they've gone 1 and out in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a while before they made it.
But there was so much to what went on here. Focusing on New England, you've probably been on social media. Tom releases this Instagram post thanking the Buccaneers, thanking Bruce Arians, thanking the people of Tampa. I think it was 300 words, not one mention of the Patriots, Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, Patriot fans.
Yeah.
Facebook went nuts.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
People went nuts. Twitter went nuts.
Yep.
Did you feel like Tom, I know more things have come out. Did Tom snub New England in that post?
Yeah, I mean, of course, if he's I mean, it's a fine slope, because he thanked the heck out of us when he signed with Tampa. He had said so much to New England and the fan base and Belichick and Kraft, but to not mention it in your retirement, you don't even mention your roots where you started 20 out of 22 years.
Yeah.
You don't even throw in a word of thank you. But also, maybe there's more something underlying that he's going to sign a one-day contract and there's going to be this huge. So, did New England really get snubbed at the end of the day?
That we don't know. But I also felt like, because he said goodbye to New England 2 years ago when he went to the Bucs.
Yeah.
This was a retirement, but it was also a goodbye to the Bucs. Because they're gonna have to figure everything out now.
They're back to being terrible, I believe, unless they get a big quarterback this year.
Yeah, unless So I felt like it was a retirement, but at the same time it was like, thank you Buccaneers for the last 2 years. I'm retiring. Do we put too much stake into like an Instagram post? Because that's not a press conference.
Yeah, Tom Brady
If he got
doesn't
to do
owe
a
us
press
anything.
conference, he was like, it's all about this. He posted something on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, the society has changed so much and how much stock we put into a post.
Yeah, that's just the world we live in now, unfortunately, But Tom Brady doesn't owe New England or fans anything. He put his heart and soul into this area and football for 20 years. Dominance, 20 years of dominance. What does he owe us? We should be thanking him.
No, I agree, and he did say his goodbye, and it was just an Instagram post. But some of the things I kind of noticed, he said his goodbye before. I think New England, we want a lot of that. Like, he was our guy. Like, Dave Portnoy came out and did an emergency press conference for Barstool. He does these a lot. People don't put too much stake into those. But one of the points he brought up, and I know Tom eventually did a post for him too in his stories.
Yeah.
New England fans doubled down on Tom Brady at his lowest during Deflategate.
Yep.
It was us against the world. It was defend the wall.
Yep.
Everywhere we went, Tom Brady's a cheater. Tom Brady's this. And you know what Patriot fans did? We were going to die on that hill with no matter what, and we stood by him. Still stand by him.
We're sinking with that ship, and he's the captain
And
of it, essentially.
and remember what it was in 2015? I was like, it's us against the NFL now. It's the Patriots versus Goodell. It's against the NFL as a whole. And we were behind him. And the fans of New England, when he was going through some, when people started to doubt him, when Belichick started to doubt him, I don't feel like the fan. Obviously, you're gonna have those one-off fans.
Yeah.
I think the majority of fans in New England never turned on him.
No.
And I think they took that personal. But it was just a post.
That's it.
That's
it. Who knows? We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Hopefully he does do that. But again, if he doesn't, then I don't think people should be so butthurt.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And
just my opinion.
And the big thing too is like. We owe him a lot because I don't think if you never get the quarterback, you never get the 6 Super Bowls. And the Patriots aren't this historic dynasty, this historic franchise now. That was Tom.
A lot of
Tom. Obviously, you need the coach, but if we see anything in this league, if you don't have the quarterback, you ain't winning.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, that Rams game, the second defeat of the Rams. I think it was a 10-3 game. Something you see so many people say, "Oh, well, the defense won Tom Brady the Super Bowl that year."
That's all it was.
Like, well, what about the 18 games prior to that point? What did he do that year?
It always was that. There's 2 phases of the side of the ball in football, and we're very aware of that.
Yeah.
Is Party glad he retired? Since he wasn't a Patriot?
I mean, I'm neutral about it. Kind of sad, it's another one of those, like, wow, I'm more and more shocked because it's, wow, guy I watched basically my whole life, he's gone now.
It makes me feel older. It's like Poppy's going in the hall.
Yeah.
Brady's done.
Yep.
I guess I'm closer to 40 than I am 30, which kind of drives me.
I'll be there in a blink of an eye. Time flies.
I will say I'm a little happy because a couple things. There was 3 reasons because someone's like, why are you happy that he potentially will be retiring? 1, and I know I'm guilty of this, I was sick of the Brady-Belichick comparisons. I didn't think they were fair. I didn't think the Patriots as a roster were as good as the Buccaneers were.
Not even close.
So it's hard to compare there. Second, I was getting sick of the people being like, you're not a real Pats fan if you wear a Tom Brady Bucs jersey, blah, blah.
I couldn't stand that.
I'm like, Tom's my favorite. You've never had a player mean that much to your franchise ever.
Of course.
Then you don't know what that feels like.
Of course. I'm Patriots first, all the way. If New England's not fighting for it, I'm rooting for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I really am. I don't really have a second favorite NFL team, but I'm going to root for the guy who brought so much success to this area for 2 decades. Of course.
I never bought, I don't have any. I have 2 Tampa shirts that say Brady on them,
Yeah.
a jersey and a T-shirt. So that was getting really annoying because I was like, because the Patriots are out. Right? No, we didn't jump. We've had this guy's back since 2001.
Yeah.
Okay, so to those hater fans, I want to be like, you've never had that player. Then you've never had that player, and you don't know what that's like.
You don't. There's always going to be an attachment. We'll be talking about Brady forever. Forever.
And the last thing I was just happy, and again, I'm not happy. Like I was just like, we don't have to deal with this anymore. Is that those Bucs fans that jumped on his bandwagon? They were not there during the tough times.
No, they weren't there 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay.
Now they're selling out.
They were the ones saying he was a cheater. Okay.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Do you have like a top 5 Brady moments?
Top 5? That's tough. I mean, obviously the number one that sticks out to me is 28-3, coming back against the Falcons. That game was just crazy.
Still can't believe it.
Yeah, a crazy game. 2007 season, with Moss breaking the record. I still believe that record holds to this day. Is his 23 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Brady threw for 50 that year. That was holding record.
I think Manning passed him eventually.
He did with 55.
Yeah.
I only know that because I looked it up earlier.
Yeah. After he came back from neck.
Yeah. Him and Demaryius Thomas that year lit it up. But I gotta say, number 1 is 28-3. Number 2 would be the 2007 season as like a key moment for him. 3, his first Super Bowl win, beating the greatest show on turf. They weren't. I think they were 14-point underdogs or something like that for that game. So that's huge. I'm trying to think of 4 and 5. That's my top 3.
Yeah, I mean, some of mine. I mean, I watched the game live when he came in for Bledsoe. Do I? Obviously at this point it's hazy. It's been a long time because we didn't know who the heck he really was.
Of course.
Because for years I always liked Drew Bledsoe, but there was this kid. What was it? Bishop. David Bishop? I forget what it is. There was another quarterback that a lot of people were like, well, maybe Bishop should go in for Bledsoe, and they'd said that years prior or whatever. Never really saw the team being without Drew Bledsoe. That's just like, he came in when I was in like 3rd grade.
No one did at the time.
Yeah, he was the quarterback going into when I was in high school. So I got to say, like, him going into that game the first time, it's got to be on there because that changed the course of history.
It did.
And you got to wonder, if they had just given Drew Bledsoe the biggest contract any quarterback's ever got.
Yeah, $100 million over 10 years or something crazy like that.
If that doesn't happen, does Brady get his shot? It's not with the Patriots.
No, definitely not with the Patriots. It's one of those what if things. If I think he would have done something somewhere, maybe not to the degree that we got.
Yeah.
For 20 years. But that guy just had so much willpower and determination to succeed. So, I mean, I just think that he would have eventually succeeded somewhere. Maybe won a Super Bowl too, but no, not the greatest of all time. If it wasn't for Mo Lewis wiping out Bledsoe, that hit, man.
To this day, I mean, and I will recommend watch Man the Arena because it does bring back so much memories, and then you realize how long Tom Brady really has been playing.
What about the call for Belichick too? When Bledsoe comes back and he's healthy, here you have
he's got to decide
franchise quarterback, and he saw something in Brady. He made the call.
I think if it was another coach, another team, Bledsoe goes back.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. That's just kind of like a rule of thumb. Any quarter, if Patrick Mahomes goes out next year, gets hurt, and then Joe Schmo comes in behind him and tears it up.
They're going back to Mahomes.
They're going back to Mahomes. Obviously, Bledsoe wasn't Mahomes, but he wasn't. He
got to a He did get to a Super Bowl. I mean, he was more successful than the previous Patriots quarterbacks before the 80s when they got to the Super Bowl. But no, just absolutely crazy. But you're right. Yeah, a lot of I look at the 99 Bills. Doug Flutie gets them to the playoffs.
Yep.
And the ownership comes in and goes, no, we want. I think it was Rob Johnson starting again.
Yeah.
Belichick wanted control of that team, and Kraft gave it to him.
And
if
he got
Kraft I love Bob Kraft. He signs the checks. I think if it's his call back in 2001, he probably would have gone Bledsoe.
Probably.
But he trusted his coach.
How do you not? I mean, of course he's probably going to go Bledsoe because he's so much invested into him.
Yeah.
But Belichick is the one who made that call, man.
Yeah, it's just very crazy how that all.
Then Belichick, remember when he came over here? He was supposed to be the Jets, introduced as the Jets coach, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm actually going to go to New England," and basically stabbed all the Jets fans in the back.
It's cool watching all these documentaries now because I didn't know there was so much friction between Parcells and Belichick.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be honest, in the '90s, I didn't know who the hell Bill Belichick was. I know he ended up coaching the Browns, but I was too young to know anything outside of what was going on around here.
Yeah.
But I knew who Bill Parcells was.
Yep.
So when they hired Bill Belichick, I didn't know anything about him, honestly.
Yeah.
But there was him and Parcells really didn't get along. They want so Kraft gave him everything that Parcells did want, but
that's crazy. Yeah, that's cool. That's funny.
Yeah, we could probably talk about this forever.
Oh, I could sit here.
This could probably be a whole show. Let's get into something here. Obviously, we love you, Tom Brady, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, never forget him, man. GOAT.
Predictions for this year's Super Bowl. We got the Bengals. Who would have thought this at the beginning? If you would have told me this a year ago, the Bengals were going to be in the Super Bowl.
Bengals, yeah.
Against the Rams. Who are you going with?
That's going to be a good game, I think. And that's a tough pick because I could see the Rams blowing them out. I think if the Bengals win, who I hope wins, that's going to be my pick. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like a 21-17 kind of battle. But the Bengals.
Going Bengals.
Their defense has been good. They just got to stop Cooper Kupp. That's really it.
I think I'm going to go Bengals too. I feel like the Rams were expected to be here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they signed every major free agent or people on the trading block.
I mean, to get Matthew Stafford, who's never done anything. Well, he has done things. He was stuck in Detroit. He went from the outhouse to the penthouse in one season.
In a blink of an eye.
He must have been like, Rams want. Yeah. Where do I sign?
Me up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think they traded Jared Goff and a fourth-round pick for him.
Sean McVay he was not feeling Goff. He knew he wasn't the guy.
No.
I'm happy with whoever wins. These are both pretty good stories, but I feel like the Bengals right now, because they beat the Chiefs. Yeah. After the Chiefs had one of the greatest comebacks, and just they're the Chiefs. They're the best, and the Bengals knocked them off. Feels like a team of destiny.
Yeah, I hope so, and it's exciting too. For Joe Burrow to be a second-year quarterback. Yeah. The quarterback position right now going forward in the NFL is crazy. You got these 5 quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. It just keeps going on. It's exciting, as a football fan. You're gonna have this for years to come.
Now we got the next generation of quarterbacks.
After with Brady retiring.
Brady retired. Drew Brees last year. Ben Roethlisberger's gone.
The last one standing is Rodgers, right?
And Rodgers actually is. Well,
he's like 38, 39 right now.
He's a year older than me. So he was drafted a year after Roethlisberger, I believe.
38, 39.
05. Yeah, so he might be the last of this generation. I don't know where he's going to go. We'll speculate on that at some point. I agree with you though. I got the Bengals. I'm not going to say a score. I'll say my score next week. Give me an extra week to think about it. Baseball Hall of Fame, Big Papi going in.
Yeah.
What's your take on? We're very happy about Big Papi, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Booked my hotel room for that, but we still got the steroid guys, and this is going to be the debate forever.
Yeah,
What do you think? Bonds, Clemens, all these guys. Are you putting them in?
I am, yeah, personally, just because with the story behind them all. I mean, baseball was in a lockout in the mid '90s, and the game was on a very hard decline. Fan base-wise, the steroid era comes around. You have these guys putting up 60, 70 home runs a year with McGuire, Sosa, Barry Bonds. It's an exciting time of baseball, and it brought fans back to the seats, So that should be recognized, in my opinion. Yeah, did they maybe cheat and boost the numbers and things like that? Sure, but a hitter like Barry Bonds, man, when he was with the Pirates to start off his career, he was still dominant. You know, he was very fast. He was skinny. He wasn't juicing at the time. Just the stats of him don't lie. You know, all the walks that he had.
Unbelievable.
That stat is insane. Steroids don't help you out with that. Steroids don't make you barrel the ball and help you with your timing. You know, obviously it helps launch the ball 450 feet, but it doesn't help you with that raw skill set of tools to be able to, you know, put up numbers like that. So I think personally they should be in. It's kind of like Pete Rose thing. Gambling, but he wasn't gambling against his team or influencing the game.
He probably did gamble against his team.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, because I'm very, you know, and I said this on the show last week, I'm so, like, I love Pete Rose.
Yeah.
You know that. You've probably seen me rock
yeah.
Pete Rose jerseys everywhere.
Yep.
Love the way he played the game. I can't believe that he's betting on the Reds every single night with the amount of games that Major League Baseball plays. Yeah. And as the manager, he's in control of what can happen.
Yeah, no, of course. I totally see the scandal and the sketchiness behind it. But I mean,
he should be there.
He should still be there. I mean, he leads all-time hits leader. How is the guy who has the most hits in baseball?
I think they're going to wait till he's dead.
Maybe.
They're going to be like, you know what, Pete? We're not going to let you enjoy this. We're going to be, you know how they had like this, the players they put in every year that aren't like the big draw. Like Ortiz isn't the only one going in this year. There's other players that they don't have the ceremony like the main event.
Sure.
I think that might be Pete Rose, like quietly. Just
put him in there, give him a plaque.
You know, I think it's going to be our generation that does it or the generation after. But he's going to be dead and gone. But he did the ultimate sin.
Just like Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
I bet you they'll be in there at some point. What day wouldn't that be? Who knows? But
and
they should be in.
Baseball Hall of Fame is only 86 years old, which is actually a little bit younger than I thought.
Yeah.
The anniversary.
How old baseball is.
Yeah. So things can evolve. But I think people want to go to Cooperstown. They want to see the players they grew up watching.
Yeah.
You know.
And they, Bonds, Sosa, McGuire, those guys qualify for that. So I agree with you. I think they should be in.
I would love to, if that ever happened. I love Cooperstown. I've been 11 times, going for 12.
Yep.
It's heaven on earth.
I've only been once. I need to get out there again.
It's just magical.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful place, man. It's awesome. It really.
Some people. I've never been to Disney World. I have no desire to go to Disney World.
Sure. Yeah.
Heaven to me is like Cooperstown.
Yep, going to Doubleday Stadium and watching and hanging out and stuff like that.
Going into the stores, just like finding anything you've ever wanted baseball related.
Oh, the stores are great there.
Everything just about it. Like, you're in the, upstate New York.
Yeah.
Nothing but hills and everything. It's just, I love it. I can't get enough of it. Pinnacle Softball GM, also known as Aaron Surratt, wants to know, what's your best month for snowblower sales?
Aaron. I just sold like 500 of them at the last storm.
Oh, wow.
And I have another 500. No, I don't know. What is a snowblower thing,
we're going to ask this on Let Freedom Ring.
All right.
I want everybody out there, because we're going to get the official question here. You're technically under oath.
All right.
Was it you that started the snowblower text that I was receiving?
No. I wish it was. They're going on this whole time, man. I wish it was.
This has been an investigation for
a few years now.
For few years. You swear.
No, I think it's Pikachu. I think it's Brandon behind it all.
I have a feeling it's a combination of people. But to be blowing up my phone with snowblower sales when I don't live in a house, I live in an apartment complex. Yeah.
It's a funny troll, man.
But we will get to the bottom of it. Whoever it was, I will find out. I know it's been about 5 years now, but we're going to get to the bottom of this. But
that's funny.
A little bit of pop culture here, because I actually thought this was really... I saw the commercial for it and was like, really? That's going to be a movie on Hulu? Do you remember being a kid when the Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee sex tape came out?
Yeah.
Like, I remember that coming out, and I was too young. Like, I didn't get my hands on that. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I think when I was like 11, I was like, how do I get my hands on this? Because Pamela Anderson was like the hottest thing on the planet.
Baywatch. I remember my mom was like, "No, you can't watch that show." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay.
I remember
Go
the
cook
theme.
dinner, Mom. I'm gonna go put on Baywatch.
Oh, yeah. And I've watched some specials on it. They knew exactly that's what that show was for.
Oh, of course.
What do you think of Hulu making this a movie? Are you going to watch it?
No.
Like, I'm
No.
gonna.
Are you? I have zero interest. You really gonna make a movie of that? I don't know. It's
I see. I like all this stuff about like movies coming out that like the OJ movie. You
Yeah,
know, 'cause
yeah.
It reminds me of stuff that was going on when I was a kid. Like there was another one. I'm blanking on it, but this one just caught my attention because I like remember that coming out.
yeah.
And that was like the first celebrity sex tape. I don't want to get
It was,
into the like what kind of slime ball steals someone's personal video like that and distributes it because they didn't put that out there. Tommy
who want
Lee,
money.
I get, but like the ethics of that is just so.
It's terrible. Yeah, of course.
Bad.
It is.
You
It
know,
is.
like-
Imagine being that person to leak that. I bet you they're pretty rich now.
Yeah,
No, I mean I love music and stuff. So just being Tommy Lee, the drummer of Motley Crue, that intrigues me. I'm gonna probably
Seth
give
Rogen looks to be in it.
Does he really?
Yeah, I saw it from the commercial I saw.
I'm gonna give it some time. I'm gonna read some reviews about it. See if it's all about the sex tape or if there's actually gonna be other stuff.
I think it's more like the
underlying it
behind the
too.
scenes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Pamela Anderson was like the hottest woman on the planet at this
yeah.
point. Like, her fame there was no bound to that at that point. Like, I don't think anything was-
Everyone, if you 5 years old and up, everyone knew who Pamela Anderson
Exactly.
was at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And she's kind of just disappeared over. Like, she's got to be in her 50s now. Like, you don't hear anything from Pamela. I remember she like dated Kid Rock for a minute.
I don't even know what happened to her, man.
I don't know. I mean, Tommy Lee, is he alive? I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure he's still drumming for Motley Crue.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they've been torn, or they're about to start this big tour coming up, or something like that. So
I'm curious just because I'm fascinated. I lived through the 90s, so I'm fascinated with the 90s.
yep.
And it's another 90s thing that I'm like, yeah, I remember when that came out. I've never seen it. Don't anybody try to comment and be like, I don't believe you. No, I really didn't. I wish I could have seen it as a kid, but I obviously...
You know those TV shows that, it's the 80s or the 70s. Wait till we start getting them for the
Addicting.
90s and the early 2000s.
I'll watch like the I love the 70s, be like, okay, so that's what was going on there. 80s. I watch the 90s, go, oh man, I live this. Like, put it on right now.
Yeah,
you know?
yep.
What do you think of musicians? So Joe Rogan's gotten a lot of heat. Lo and behold, Joe Rogan's a big inspiration for this show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Obviously, I'm not on Spotify, I'm public access. But Joe, you're the reason I do this show. Or, him and Leo
Gotta start
Conn.
somewhere.
He's had some controversial people on the show. More like a lot of people getting angry with his anti-vax guests. I haven't seen a lot of these. Since he moved to Spotify, I don't listen as much as I used to. Mm-hmm. But a lot of musicians like Neil Young, there's others, I just can't think of them right now.
I've been reading about
They're leaving Spotify. And a lot of people are saying, well, you're trying to cancel Joe Rogan. Is this an attack on Joe Rogan? What do you think? Do musicians have a right to say where their music is played?
Is distributed, yeah, of course.
What's your take on this? Like, people get so heated about this one way or another, and I'm not even sure, like, I'm against misinformation, but Joe's show is to have guests on that are from all aspects of life.
It's opinion based, essentially. How do I feel about it? I don't know. If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
That's what I'm...
There's plenty of stuff that you don't need to worry about it. If Neil Young, too, of all people, keep on rocking in the free world, like what? Come on, man, you're kind of being a hypocrite now because you're not letting Joe Rogan be free and do his thing. You're giving him a hard time. I think people are overreacting.
Well, my thing is, like, I don't turn on Joe Rogan to get health advice.
Yeah.
I hope people don't tune in and watch my show for health advice.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Or advice on what you should do. Like, you should be listening to the experts, or, a lot of people hate listen to Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
He's in that position as head of the country
Yeah.
for infectious diseases for a reason. So if you're getting what to do from a Joe Rogan podcast and you're not listening to Joe Rogan podcast as entertainment, that says a lot about you. Like,
Yeah. You need to.
You might have bigger
reevaluate some
issues
stuff.
to worry about.
Yep.
You know, because everybody's like, oh, he's got 10 million people and he's spreading misinformation. My fear is, I understand that. My fear is like, we do lack critical thinking a lot of times, where people, they see something and they take it at face value.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things.
know.
Don't believe what you see on the internet, kind of
Yeah.
ordeal.
So it's been interesting. It's getting heated. I wonder what's going to happen. Spotify paid Joe Rogan a lot of money. I don't see him going anywhere.
Oh, he won't be.
And, if Neil Young doesn't want his music to be played on Spotify, that's up to Neil Young.
Yeah, how many people in comparison listen to Joe Rogan compared to Neil Young?
At this
You
point,
said 10 million or something like that?
Well, they signed him for $10 million.
I thought you said fan-wise.
Maybe I did say, maybe it is 10 million
I think you
people.
said 10 million fans.
Okay, maybe I don't remember what the contract is. But he's got a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
Probably the most popular podcast there is.
So, I mean, with Spotify paying him, he brings all that people to Spotify, essentially.
Oh, yeah, they paid him for a reason.
Of course. So, sorry, Neil Young. I think you're going to lose that battle.
Yeah,
You
no.
Keep on writing your music, man. I know you have like 37 studio albums. Go write number 38 and let Joe do his thing.
Yeah, he's going to be all right. And when they signed him to Spotify, they wanted him exclusive. So they've invested a lot into Joe Rogan. So I don't think he's going anywhere. But again, I hope you're not getting your advice from Joe Rogan.
No, he should.
Use Fear Factor. He does announcing in his shows. It's there for entertainment. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Just want to talk briefly on World Wrestling Entertainment here. We just had the Royal Rumble. A lot of fans were upset at the Royal Rumble match. I thought the pay-per-view as a whole was good. I understand the frustrations with the Rumble match. They had brought Shane McMahon in. He's now been fired. Mm-hmm. His father is Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the owner.
Yep.
If he can fire Shane, is anybody safe in WWE?
No, I mean probably Brock Lesnar.
He draws a lot of money.
that seems to be it. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, maybe. But no, I mean Vince is kind of off his rocker the last couple of years. He's just letting everyone go, and now it's seeped down to his own family. Who knows? What the World Wrestling Federation or Entertainment WWE? It's just kind of been on the downcline for me personally, and this is a huge reason as to why I don't really care for it. I mean, Vince is firing his own son. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes, though? Could be a family thing. Who knows?
Well, he produced the Royal Rumble match, and that's what a lot of people were heated about after the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a great Rumble. Like, I defended it, but there wasn't a whole lot to defend in that match. Like, it just wasn't. Mm-hmm. People wait a full year for the Royal Rumble. I think you should deliver on that every year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. That's one of the biggest things. It's the build up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know what to think there. A lot of rumors that this Nick Khan guy is really taking over. I know Shane has been the one that's left before, and it looks like it's going to be Stephanie and Triple H's company.
Yeah.
But Triple H now has lost a lot of power in WWE. Triple H is no longer in charge of NXT. Mm-hmm. His roles, he had the health scare. His roles are starting to decline. Could you see Vince McMahon ever selling this company or not leaving it to his family?
Yeah. Maybe not sell it now. He probably would lose money now with everything invested, time-wise and stuff like that.
I think Disney wants it.
Oh,
Or
Disney
NBC,
wants it.
NBC wants it.
Yeah. I would sell if I were him, personally. Who knows what goes through his mind, but he should sell.
Because it's crazy that he's so far into his 70s and he's still hands-on everything.
Yeah.
There, I think that's all he's ever cared about.
It is, so it's probably very hard for him to let it go. It's probably what drives him every day. Wakes up, and that's what keeps him going.
I don't think Vince McMahon's ever probably taken a vacation.
I wouldn't be surprised. But the man travels all over the place.
He's traveling all over, but I don't think he's ever really. There's never been everybody that I've ever heard on the dirt sheets is Vince McMahon's taking time off. I've never heard that ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been watching wrestling for 31 years.
That man's put his heart and soul into that company, though. Look at how big it was back in the 90s, early 2000s with the Attitude Era, and he put a lot of heart and soul into that, especially more so at that time when Stone Cold, and his feud, he put a ton into that.
He made himself into a character, too.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. It's great. That's why I think I agree with you. I can't really ever see him selling. As long as he's alive, I don't think it's going to be owned by the McMahons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's get into blank versus blank. I'm going to give you two things. You got to pick one. Tell me why.
Okay.
Going in the Super Bowl, we got two. We got Joe Burrow, young quarterback, national champion, veteran player, been stuck in Detroit all these years, but now he's in the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford. You can only have one quarterback on your team. Who are you taking?
Joe Burrow. Youth, a lot of talent. I mean, he also has a very stacked offense in Cincinnati. His wide receiving core is insane. Joe Mixon's no joke, too, at the running back position, but I think Joe Burrow is going to be the real deal. As long as he can stay healthy. He showed promise last year before he blew out his knee, and then this year he had a full year coming in. Had some up and downs, but mostly a lot of ups, and he's in the Super Bowl for a reason, you know. So I'm going to take him just because of that, his youth, and seems that, you know, a lot of people are comparing him to the next Brady. Seems to have that drive to perfection, essentially.
I mean, second year he's in the Super Bowl. That's very
That's
Brady-esque.
pretty damn good, man. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, again, if you had told me at the beginning of the season, after the history of the Bengals, that they're giving the Super Bowl, I wouldn't believe it. Cleveland Browns, you're on the clock.
I know.
Because, you know, if the Bengals can be the other horrible team out of Ohio, like,
Yep.
and now they're in a Super Bowl, Browns, they got to be going, oh, God, we got to do something.
Of course.
Who's more terrifying, Pennywise or It or Candyman?
Oh, Pennywise, I think. Pennywise, just the clown effect. Oh, it's creepy. Especially in the New It, the first version of it, creepy. You know, when they went into the haunted house and he started doing like the crab walk and turning his head. Don't get me wrong, Candyman is definitely creepy, but I have to give the nod to Pennywise there.
All right, no, I don't disagree. I like both, but yeah, I like It a lot. I think.
Yeah, yep.
The Ultimate Warrior or your hero, Goldberg.
Gotta go Goldberg, the GOAT.
GOAT.
The GOAT. You know, we've seen it on the Nerds of Wrestling, the trolling I've done and stuff. No, I don't. I Goldberg, man. I grew up watching him. He was one of my favorites when I was younger. Granted, he wasn't, you know, the most flashiest, but I remember he had the longest undefeated streak.
Yeah.
For a while.
173.
I was always one for winners at that time.
Yeah.
So Goldberg, you know, I love Goldberg.
Yeah, I mean, Goldberg, I loved the Warrior growing up, but obviously Warrior's career, we've talked about this before. Jim Hellwig made a lot of weird decisions. Goldberg, you know, he came in, they had the look, they had the idea for the streak, and the rest is history, and people still love him.
Yeah.
All right, if we're looking back at last year's draft, we didn't have a shot at this guy, but Trevor Lawrence goes number 1. Would you rather have him or who we got, Mac Jones?
That's tough because, you know, Mac Jones is so composed, but I also feel like Trevor Lawrence got robbed in Jacksonville. He's set up for failure. Urban Meyer.
Yeah, the coach didn't even care.
Yeah, Urban Meyer didn't care. I hope to see maybe Brian Flores. Oh no, Byron Leftwich just went over there.
Is that official?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure.
He played for the Jags.
Like 95% sure he did. He did play.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, with the things that he learned from Tom Brady, can bring that to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is our number 1 pick for a reason, so he just needs, I think, that kick in the ass to get his momentum going forward. I'm gonna have to say Trevor Lawrence.
All right, fair enough. And one thing I'd say about Mac Jones, tonight, 7 o'clock, he's going to be doing the skills competition for the Pro Bowl.
Oh, that's cool.
So
yeah.
I already DVR'd it because I want to see this. I'm all in on Mac myself.
Yeah.
We got to, move on from Tom Brady.
I love Mac. Don't get me wrong. I think he's about as composed as you're going to find for a rookie quarterback.
He just seems like a rookie, though. When he does interviews, you're like, yeah, he's a kid.
He is. He's a baby. I think he needs to get bigger and stronger because you could tell that he's still a little weak in his throws and stuff. Confidence and strength will be the key for his success in the future for sure.
2 teams recently just retired. One was a men's, one was a co-ed team.
Mm-hmm.
Who meant more to the softball community here in New England? or New Hampshire, I should say. Bad beat the men's team, or I'm not going to say their name, I'm going to say it out. Throw it to third.
Paco's team, yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. Both have won Worlds. Both have won Worlds. Both very, very good teams for a long time. I gotta go Bad Beat. They dominated for years and years. That's tough though.
It's a tough one. They both ended it at the same
I
time.
mean, Bad Beat is strictly men's, and Throw It to Third is co-ed. So they're kind of the Cadillac of their own class per se, the Hall of Fame. Great teams, great careers. So I know they both folded the same year. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's only so much you can do sometimes.
A lot of good players on the free agent market, maybe.
Yeah.
For some tournament teams.
It's going to be interesting to see where a lot of people end up.
Yeah. Will be.
Who would you rather have in the outfield, Michael Schultz or DC?
I got to go Schultzy. No offense to DC if he sees this.
Oh, God, if he
or
sees
anything.
this, he's going to throw a bat at you.
Yeah, I know.
That has happened. He actually threw a bat at us.
No, I got to go
Don't troll your
Schultzy.
teammates.
I got to go Schultzy. He's an animal out there.
Would you rather play league or tournaments?
When I was younger, tournaments definitely. Now that I'm getting older, league tournaments is a big commitment. Waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get to those 7:30 games down in Connecticut. But I mean, overall, I got to say tournament.
All right, last one, hardest one in blank versus blank. Would you rather be coached by the Butcher, Benny Bork, or Tiny Pipes Dan Bollier?
Oh, the Butcher. The Butcher's the goat. Butcher's the goat.
How a feeling?
Yeah, the Butcher's the goat, man.
No, Benny. I loved playing for Benny. I only tried to
everyone.
fill his shoes. Those are two biggest shoes to fill.
Yeah. I know I was giving you crap the whole not my coach thing throughout the year, but no, we had fun. I love that team. It was good times that we had.
No, I agree. John, I'm glad to have you on today. I know this is first time in the studio, but you've been a multiple time guest on Let Freedom Ring. So
yeah, three-time, baby. Three-time. No, this is a cool experience coming in here.
Yeah. We'll
see where the magic happens for you every Thursday. So thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We'll have you on again sometime. But
sure.
Everybody out there, have a great week. Unless your name's Soapy pre-op, keep your heads up. Ask to wear a mask. Wear a mask. Again, we're saying get vaccinated. But until next week, let freedom ring.